morning, students. This is Miss Khyati Dwarkadas, and we are going to start with the second chapter in geography. At the end of this unit, you will learn about the process of the formation of different physiographic divisions in India. And this chapter is called Physical Features of India. Just as you can see in the image, this is the actual image of the Himalayan mountain. It's derived from the word Him, which means snow, and Alai, which means abode. So Himalaya means the abode of snow. The major physiographic divisions of India, which we shall be covering in this unit, are as follows. So if you look at the map carefully in front of you on the screen, then I'm going to show you each of the divisions. One will be the Peninsular Plateau region. So it's this region, if you can notice. Everything to the south of this is your Peninsular Plateau region. This entire region is your Peninsular Plateau, what we always have known as the Deccan Plateau. This region is your northern mountainous region. So it extends from the northernmost state or union territory now of India and goes right down to the northeastern states. And all of it is your northern mountainous region. Now, if you notice, this region is the North Indian Plain. This region is the North Indian Plain, what we have always known as the Indo-Gangetic Plain. This region is the coastal plain. Touching the sea is your coastal plain. Then you have the Indian island cities or states which are here. And you have studied them in the previous chapter as well. And how can we miss the great Indian desert, the Thar desert, and the run of Kutch? The great Indian desert, the Thar desert, and the run of Kutch. So that's where we end with. Now I hope you have seen the physiographic divisions of India. These are the main geographical divisions of our nation. The Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the islands. So when we talk of the physical features of India, we have to understand that India is a vast country with varied landforms and physical features. While we know that it has big Himalayas, there are beaches in the south, the Thar Desert in Rajasthan, and the Deccan Plateau in the center of the country. So my little caricature there says, think about it. Look at the diversity in the physical features of our nation. Even the color of the soil varies from one region to another. For example, in Maharashtra, we find both the black soil and the red soil. But in Madhya Pradesh, we find only red soil. This variation in soil is due to the kind of rocks from which they are made. The relief and physical features of India have evolved through different geological periods. During the process of formation of India, as it looks like today, the Indian landmass was subjected to weathering, deposition and erosion. And if you realize, most of it is the work of rivers and the wind. The physical features of India that we see today are a result of all of these processes. And here individually on each of the 4 maps, you can see each of those places highlighted. If I start from the left, the plains are highlighted in green. If I go to the north, the rivers and the coastal areas are highlighted. If I go down south, the mountain ranges of the north have been highlighted. If I go east, the plateau region, in particular the Deccan Plateau, has been highlighted for you. Now, if you realize the entire world is made out of plates, and this theory of joining the plates is called the theory of plate tectonics. And the entire Earth's crust is formed out of 7 major and some minor plates. When they move, they cause disturbance in the continental crust. When the plates move, it leads to faulting, folding, volcanic activity, earthquakes at some times, because the earthquake hotspots will go on the fault lines. So, the entire continental drift theory is also a result of plate tectonics. There are 3 diagrams in your textbook: convergent plate boundaries, divergent plate boundaries, and transform plate boundaries. So I'd like you to draw those 3 diagrams and color and label them with a black pen. So this was the first one, convergent plate boundary. That is when 2 boundaries move towards each other. It is called a convergent plate boundary. You can see here, this plate is moving this direction, this plate is moving in this direction. So when they are moving towards each other, they are converging. A convergent boundary is formed when 2 plates move towards each other. Look down now. The divergent boundary. The boundaries of both the plates are moving away from each other. That is your divergent boundary, when 2 plates move away from each other. And then you are left with your transform boundary. These plates slide against each other. This kind of a boundary is also called the horizontal boundary. Now in the major physiographic divisions, today we are going to learn only about the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayas are fold mountains, young fold mountains and old fold mountains, but you have to call them only fold mountains, which cover the northern part of India. They are geologically young as compared to other mountain ranges. So find out which are the old fold mountains. The Himalayan range is the highest in the most rugged mountain range in the world. It extends from river Indus in the west to river Brahmaputra in the east. So if you could quickly see the map in front of you, river Indus in the west, over here, to river Brahmaputra in the east. All of it is the Himalayan range, forming an arc of about 2400 kilometers. This is the arc that it is forming. The width of this range varies from 400 kilometers in Kashmir. Width is breadth, how broad they are, to 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. Altitudes of the mountains vary more than the western parts. The Himalayas consist of three parallel ranges, the Himadri, the Himachal and the Shivalik. The Himadri is what we are going to look at right now. It is the northernmost range known as the Greater or Inner Himalayas or the Himadri. It is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. I told you it consists of the loftiest or the highest peaks. The Great Himalayan folds are asymmetrical, that means they are not symmetrical in nature. The core of this part of the Himalayas is composed of granite. It's perennially snowbound. That's why I told you in the beginning, Him Alay, abode of snow, perennially snowbound, and a number of glaciers descend from this range. Himadri, called Greater or Inner Himalayas, 6,000 meters average height, peaks composed of granite, glaciers descend. So here you get to see some of the highest peaks of the world: Mount Everest, Mount Godwin Austen, which is the second highest in the world. The other highest peaks are given to you here in front of you. Mount Everest in Nepal, Kanchenjunga in India, Makalu in Nepal, Dhalagiri in Nepal, Nanga Parbat in India, Annapurna in Nepal, Nanda Devi, India, Kamet, India, Namcha Barwa, India, Gurla Mandhata, Nepal. So you can make out that these mountain ranges are located, they are perennially snowbound and have the loftiest peaks. I do not expect you to learn the height in meters of each of the peaks. Whenever you need to know the height of a peak, I will let you know and you will have to learn it. But knowing the names and the countries of the peaks is very, very important at your stage. This brings us to the next range of the Himalayas, which is called the Himachal. The ranges lying to the south of the Himadri form the most rugged mountain system and is called the Himachal or the Lesser Himalaya. It is composed of compressed and altered rocks. Its altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters, with the average width of 50 kilometers. While Pir Panjal range forms the longest and the most important range, Dhauladhar and Mahabharat ranges are also prominent ones. This mountain range, the Himachal, consists of the most famous valleys of Kashmir, Kangra, Kullu, etc. in Himachal Pradesh. The region is very well known for its hill stations. So here I show you the valleys: Kashmir Valley, Kullu Valley, Kangra Valley, the Pir Panjal range in Himachal, the hill stations in Himachal Pradesh, Dalhousie, Ranikhet, Shimla and Nainital. So many images for you to enjoy the beauty of the mountain range. The third range in the Himalayas is called the Shivalik. It's the outermost range of the Himalayas and is known as the Shivalik. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between 900 and 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges located farther north. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. Longitudinal valleys lying between the lesser Himalayas and the Shivaliks are known as dunes, and we have Dehradun, Kotli Dun, Patli Dun. These are the most important dunes. And I show you three images of the Shivalik: Dehradun, Kotli Dun and Patli Dun. The Himalayas are divided into regions from east to west and have been demarcated by their river valleys. For example, the part of the Himalayas lying between the Indus and Satluj has been traditionally called the Punjab Himalayas. But it is also known as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from the west to east, respectively. Now, when we talk of the west to east divisions of the Himalayas lying between the Indus and Satluj are the Punjab Himalayas, but the region in which they are make it known to as Kashmir. The part between the Himalayas lying between the Satluj and Kali rivers is known as the Kumaon Himalayas. The region between Kali and Tista rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas, and the part lying between the Tistang and Dihang rivers is known as the Assam Himalayas. And here is a clear image for you to see. In fact, three images. The bottommost image talks about the Nepal Himalayas between the Kali and Tista rivers. The left image shows you the Kumaon Himalayas located between the Satluj and Kali rivers. And the Assam Himalayas are shown at the top between the Tista and Dihang rivers. And so now you've become an expert about the mountains in particular among the different physical features of India. We also need to know that the Himalayas, besides these divisions, have like the Brahmaputra, where the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas is formed. So beyond the Dihang, the spread along the eastern boundary of India of the Himalayas still exists. So these are called the Purvanchal, or the eastern hills and mountains. These hills run mostly through the northeastern states and are composed of sandstone, which is sedimentary, covered with dense forests. They mostly run as parallel ranges and valleys. Purvanchal comprises the two main hills or the three or four main hills, Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills and the Mitso Hills. So I guess with that we can stop with today's class. But as usual, I always leave you with some activities to do. On page 8, there are two activities. Find out. There are two find outs on page 8. We have to do both of those find outs. On page 11, there's another find out. Or it's a did you know, it's a fact. But you can still find out and collect an image of Mahashali. And so I'll move you next directly to viewing a video. Don't worry, I will leave the link to the video in the description box, but do watch the video. And until we meet again, thank you. Goodbye.
This is our country, India. There is a continuous chain of mountain ranges in the northern part of the country. These mountains are known as the Himalayan range. The Himalayan range is bordered by the Karakoram and Hindu Kush ranges in the northwest. The Himalayan range is bordered by the Tibetan Plateau in the north and the Indo-Gangetic Plain in the south. Himalaya is a Sanskrit word. Hima means snow and Alaya means abode. Together, Himalaya means the abode of snow. The Himalayas consist of three parallel ranges: the Greater Himalayas or the Himadri range, the Middle Himalayas or the Himachal range, and the Lesser Himalayas or the Shivalik range. The world's highest peak, Mount Everest, is situated in the Greater Himalayas. Some of the other high peaks in this range are Kanchenjunga, Nanga Parbat, and Nanda Devi. The Greater Himalayan range has many mountain passes. A route through a mountain is called a mountain pass. Some important passes in the Himalayan range are Zojila, Jelepla, Shipkila, and Nathula. The Greater Himalayas are covered with snow throughout the year. Many glaciers are present in this range of the Himalayas. Glaciers are large masses of moving ice. Many Himalayan rivers are formed by the melting of glaciers. Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Yamuna are some rivers which originate from the Himalayas. The Middle Himalayas are found between the Greater and Lesser Himalayan ranges. Many beautiful valleys like Kashmir, Kulu, and Kangra are situated in this range. Hill stations like Shimla, Mussoorie, Nainital, and Darjeeling are also located in this range. This region is well suited for growing crops. The thick forests of the Middle Himalayas consists of trees such as pine, oak, fir, walnut, spruce, and juniper. These trees are useful to us in many ways. This range is also famous for apple orchards and tea plantations. The Lesser Himalayas are the southernmost range of the Himalayas. This range is made of mud and soft rocks. It is not a continuous range like the other two ranges. Purvanchal range lies to the northeast of India. It covers the states of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland, Meghalaya, and Mizoram. Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, Naga, and Mizo hills lie in the Purvanchal range. Terrace farming is practiced in this region. In this type of farming, the slopes of a hill are cut into steps and crops are grown on them. Rice, vegetables, pulses, and sugarcane are grown here. The Himalayas have saved us from many invasions in the past. They also act as a barrier to the cold winds blowing from Central Asia in winter. The Himalayas stop the rain-bearing clouds from leaving the country. Thus, they cause heavy rainfall in many parts of northern India. Many rivers originate from the northern mountains. These rivers bring down fertile soil to the northern plains. The Himalayan forests provide valuable wood and medicinal plants. These forests are home to a variety of animals such as goats, sheep, tigers, and rhinoceros. Many tourists visit the Himalayas for adventure sports such as river rafting and paragliding.